Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to 10 interviews that turned into fights. Now, I can't imagine, why this would happen. I guess because, if you're a TV presenter, you've probably, before you get to interview celebrities, you've probably got a few years on the job. You've had lots of training, you've been prompted by the producers what to ask, what not to ask. I'm sure the agent of the celebrity has given you a list of topics that are kind of like no-go zones, don't talk about it. So for this to happen, either the presenter has gone rogue, or maybe there's a sensitive topic that they weren't aware of that they speak about, and that kind of triggers the response in the celebrity. But, I would have thought that the celebrity would kind of just, because obviously they want to be seen as likable and stuff. They wouldn't want to lose their head, especially if they're being filmed. But I'm guessing maybe the presenters here, maybe poked continuously, goaded them into reacting. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting video. Let's do it.
Does he look like he's had Botox, Lisa?
He looks very healthy.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 interviews that turned into fights.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel.
I wouldn't have thought Gordon would get, annoyed by that, because, he's usually dishing it out. If you dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
And ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at TV interviews that escalated into vicious arguments, walkouts, and even physical altercations. Which dramatic interviews had you reaching for the popcorn? Tell us your favourites in the comments. Number 10. Joan Rivers fights back. When you invite a comedian onto your show to discuss their new book, it's probably not the time nor place to grill them on animal rights. Especially if you're talking to Joan Rivers, because she's just going to rip you to shreds.
Even with your fashion critiquing, while it's very mean in some ways, people can't wait to hear what you have to say. Really? It's not mean?
In this CNN interview,
from that point, she was already already you could see her back coming up. The repeated, it's not mean, was very defensive.
The host put Rivers back up from the outset with a leading line of questioning about plastic surgery.
This whole interview is becoming a defensive interview.
No!
Are you wearing leather shoes?
Yeah,
shut up.
I'm talking.
She then hauled her over the coals regarding her show Fashion Police, her irreverent sense of humour, and her love of fur.
I'm going. I really am going, because all you have done is negative.
The questions are valid, but they're delivered with a smile so fake it seems calculated to cause offence. Eventually, Rivers snaps, shots are fired, and the star exits stage left.
My book is funny. I wear fur that was killed 15 years ago. I work for animal rights. Stop it with, and you do this, and you're mean, and you're that. You are not the one to interview a person who does humor. Sorry.
I don't know about that. I feel like Joan kind of overreacted here, especially for someone who's had such a long career in TV and the media. You would think that she would just laugh that off. She would, have answers for her. Oh man, yeah, I don't know about that one. What do you guys think? I kind of think Joan, looking back, probably will regret kind of getting so annoyed.
Number 9. Oliver Reed versus Shelley Winters. British actor Oliver Reed became well known for his chaotic chat show appearances, especially in his later alcohol-fueled years.
Quiet!
Can we end the show now?
Please be quiet for a minute.
Yes, sir.
Good. I am not really used to this.
However, this particular confrontation was caused by his backwards opinions and a deliberate attempt to provoke. Reed bantered back and forth with Shelley Winters during their appearance on The Tonight Show in 1975. In fairness to the American actress, she didn't rise to the bait for almost the whole episode.
Shh! Quiet, woman!
She'd actually left the stage for the night when Reed started on about the evils of women's lib, but Winters made sure she returned to teach him a lesson. Reed later described the altercation as a giggle, saying, "She's a showman and I'm a showman, and that's our business." Number 8.
At the end of the day, like, it's a show, it's a performance. You know, they both handled it like pros.
You're the tosser, pal. In 1997, the Bee Gees appeared on the late-night talk show Clive Anderson All Talk. Anderson was known for his irreverent style of hosting, resulting in some dramatic confrontations over the years.
Because that's perhaps the most distinctive thing now, that high-pitched...
Oh, the falsetto.
That's it, yes, yeah. Were you working with Mickey Mouse at the time?
Funny, but... Yeah, I can imagine that would get him a little bit annoyed.
The most memorable was his run-in with the Kings of Disco. The host's repeated jibes at his guests' expense did not go down well with the eldest Gibb brother. Anderson mocks the group's musical style, their solo efforts, and riffs on their former name, the Tossers.
Before we became the Bee Gees, we were Les Tossers, which we thought was...
You'll always...
Hold on, are the Bee Gees English? What? No way. He sounds English. I thought they were American.
Les Tossers to me, but I don't know.
Gibb's growing irritation is plain to see, and it's only a matter of time before he snaps.
In fact, I might just leave.
Yeah. Oh, I've never had anyone walk out before, but...
we are a tosser, pal.
Uttering some parting words of wisdom, the singer storms off stage, leaving his brothers to hurry after him in an act of solidarity. Number 7.
His face, the host, his face. Look at the smile just fade away.
Comes off stage,
look.
leaving his brothers to hurry after him in an act of solidarity. Number 7. R. Kelly has a tantrum. Disturbing allegations concerning R&B artist R. Kelly began appearing back in the 1990s.
So disappointing.
However, it wasn't until the release of the 2019 documentary Surviving R. Kelly that he began to be held accountable. In an interview with CBS's Gayle King, the I Believe I Can Fly singer flew right off the handle.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me.
Ranting and raving.
I'm fighting for my motherfucking life. I remember this. This got memed into like oblivion. The amount of memes that came out of this little clip.
In front of the calm and collected interviewer, Kelly gives an uncanny impersonation of a toddler throwing a tantrum.
He's so theatrical.
My career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man!
Calm
it's
down.
entertaining, but pretty dark when you put it into context.
This is not about music! I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it! Y'all just don't want to believe the truth!
Kelly has since been sentenced to 30 years in prison. But here
I love how they're frantically doing makeup on him and his manager's trying to calm him down by giving him a little back rub.
his crimes are just beginning to catch up with him. The panic is plain to see. Number 6.
So disappointing, honestly. R. Kelly, he has some bangers, some absolute bangers. I Believe I Can Fly, Ignition, I think Trapped in the Closet, that series. It's like, dude, you know, like I can't request his songs in the pub anymore, you know? Ignition would always get requested. Every time. It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen, mama rolling that body. Oh, it's such a banger. Now he's just ruined it.
Quentin Tarantino versus Krishnan Guru Murthy. Krishnan Guru Murthy has always been a bit of a wind-up merchant.
But why are you so sure that there's no link between enjoying movie violence and enjoying real violence?
Oh,
I'm going to tell you why I'm so sure. Do not ask me a question like that. I'm not biting.
His probing questions, delivered with a provoking smile, seem designed to get a rise out of his celebrity subjects. In an uncomfortable interview with Robert Downey Jr., he pushed the actor almost to the point of tears, and the discussion was cut short. This earlier face-off with Quentin Tarantino is more fun, though.
And I'm shutting your butt down.
The Django Unchained director doesn't take kindly to the negative slant the interview is taking, and he lets us know it.
And I'm saying no. And I'm shutting you down.
It all gets a bit heated, but when Guru Murthy changes back, Tarantino snaps back into friendly mode, and everything's wrapped up with a smile and a thank you. Number 5. Kim Wood.
Yeah, Krishnan is known for that. And I guess, you know, it's fun to see these kind of interviews where, like, they ask questions that are typically not asked, but at the same time, you know, you should be courteous. Like, the celebrity doesn't have to sit down with you. So I guess it's a balancing act, isn't it? Like
Woodburn on Loose Women. Celebrity Big Brother loves a big personality, and And back in 2017, Kim Woodburn's explosive bust-ups stole the show. The woman is clearly an icon, but the CBB house can be toxic, and she didn't have an easy time of it in there.
The only way it gets TV is because she comes out and is controversial. You've no talent. That's the only way you get...
You've got no talent, damn. Oh my God.
Didn't have an easy time of it in there.
The only way it gets TV is because she comes out and is controversial. You've no talent. That's the only way you get TV.
Nevertheless, 18 months later, someone thought it was a good idea to invite her onto Loose Women to face up against her former housemate, Colleen Nolan. The show was uncomfortable watching. The panel closed ranks against the 76-year-old and made no attempt to make amends for past hurt. The segment may have caused a stir, but it was misjudged and nasty.
Jeez, I don't want to draw a line on
you. Don't want to.
Because I will never forget what the likes of her and the 7 others put me through.
It also received a flood of complaints. Number 4. Jim.
They need to bring Big Brother back to the UK. That show was amazing. It's crazy what, if you lock people in a house for, I don't know, 3 months, just how things kind of devolve into this kind of Lord of the Flies type dynamic. It's so weird. You guys, did Big Brother ever get to the US? I think it did. Is it still being shown?
Jim Everett versus Jim Rome. It feels like risky business to taunt a 6'5" NFL player straight to his face, but that didn't stop radio host Jim Rome.
Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett, good to have you on the show.
You know what? You've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, hey, you know what? Let me say one thing.
The presenter had a running joke going, where he referred to Jim Everett on air as Chris, after Chris Everett, a female tennis player. When the American footballer came in for an interview, Rome continued the joke, and Everett asked him to stop.
We're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call one more time, we better take a station break.
In a scene that will be familiar to anyone who's ever had a sibling, Everett utters the classic phrase, "If you say that one more time," and Rome responds accordingly.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
Next thing we know, the table's been flipped, they're both on the floor, and we're cutting to a commercial break. Number 3.
I love it. He actually went for him. The way he flipped the table over. Oh my God. Brilliant.
If you say that one more time...
The radio host is a grade A troll. Grade A. Grade A.
And Rome responds accordingly.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
Next thing we know, the table's been flipped, they're both on the floor, and we're cutting to a commercial break. Number 3. Emu Attacks Parkinson.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, I wouldn't know what to look for.
If there's one way to get away with bad behaviour live on telly, it's probably to become a puppeteer and say the emu did it. Rod Hull was a fixture on UK television screens in the 70s and 80s, always accompanied by the bad-tempered bird who loved to bite people. In one iconic interview, Emo laid into Michael Parkinson with great enthusiasm. Poor Parky was powerless to stop it. As live on air, he was obliged to maintain the magic and a sense of good humour. However, after a prolonged attack, the broadcaster looked as if he was ready to strangle somebody, and his patience was clearly running thin.
Oh my gosh. I mean, come on, mate. Come on, you take it. It's funny for a while, but then lay off.
It made for great TV, though. Number 2. The Children's Names Row.
A name for me is a shortcut. It's a really efficient way of working out what class that child comes from. Do I want my children to play with them?
Formerly a contestant on The Apprentice, Katie Hopkins has...
She's just not a nice person. Like honestly, some of the stuff she said, just awful.
Become infamous for her controversial and inflammatory views, from comparing refugees to cockroaches, to suggesting that dementia sufferers should be euthanized.
Isn't that incredible? Let me rewind that so you guys, heard that.
refugees to cockroaches, to suggesting that dementia sufferers should be euthanized, she courts publicity by spreading hate. Back in 2013, she made headlines after inciting a class row on This Morning.
You judge children?
Yes.
On their names?
Yes, Holly.
Hopkins suggested that children's first names are an indicator of their social class. She says she doesn't allow her own kids to play with children with lower class names. Holly Willoughby's reaction says it all, really. However, Hopkins undermined her own argument once she got into the specifics, citing geographical names as common. She failed to see the irony of her own daughter's name.
Oh, so Brooklyn or London.
Your child's called India?
Yes, but you know, that's because it's not...
Ridiculous. So you don't like kids with geographical names. You look down on them, but your own daughter's called India? Where is the...
Go on. Grace Jones on Russell Harty. Model, musician and actress Grace Jones caused ratings to soar after her appearance on The Russell Harty Show in the early 80s.
Can you smell her at all?
No, I've got my own body odour perfume.
Let's try and keep it on a slightly higher level, if we may.
After a long week and some bad cocaine, Jones wasn't in the best frame of mind for a live TV show. Throw in some last-minute changes and a bad-mannered host who repeatedly turned his back on her, and you get the perfect recipe for drama.
Don't turn your back on me anymore.
I can't look.
Oh, she slapped him.
Catch it. Now, hold.
The exhausted and disoriented guest dealt with the situation by repeatedly thumping the presenter in the back.
What, you're going to tell me why?
Because men always make the fashion for women, that's why.
In her autobiography, Jones writes, "Harty was rude. I wasn't going to put up with it. I lashed out on live television. It takes balls to do that."
Oh my God.
You agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip.
That video was fantastic. Oh my God. For me, one of the favorite one, or the one that sticks to mind, is the Jim Rome, Chris Everett one. Oh my God, that was so funny. When he dared him to say it one more time, and he did, and he flipped the table. That was just so funny. The last one with the Grace Jones, I mean, geez, like, to be fair, the host, you don't turn your back on guests. Like, come on, like, that you just don't do that. You just don't do that. No matter how bad the guest is, just cut to a break and ask the guest to leave. You don't turn your back on them. It's really rude. But yeah, Grace Jones, I mean, you don't hit the host. Come on, you don't do that. What was your favorite one from the list? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.